Hey everyone, welcome to our Q&A. We asked you to send in some questions and a lot of you did, and we're really happy and thankful for all of your questions. Now today we're going to answer all of them, or a lot of them at least.
Yeah, and we already did answer all the questions in the camper when we had terrible weather, but we found that it just wasn't that nice, so we are re-recording it now.
Yeah, you could hear the rain the whole time, and it was dark and grey, both outside and in, so this is much better. So on Thursday afternoon we are re-recording this so you can have a better image.
So let's start with the first question.
Yes. Just going to pick them at random. How do you make the camper cozy?
How do we make the camper cozy? Yeah, I think we don't do a lot to make it cozy, really. Everything that you put in place, you need to put it away again when you're going to another place. And since we're traveling quite often, so we're quite often going to a new location, it's just an hassle. So
well, we bought fairy lights with the idea of making it a little bit more cozy that way, but they kept falling down. So we haven't reattached them anymore. We bought a pillow in Slovenia last year, and we have some blankets for me when I get cold. I think that's about as much as we have for the camper to get cozy. Is there a chance you won't return after 6 months? Yes, we won't return after 6 months. We've decided to take 7.5 to be able to have enough time in Norway to not feel rushed, and just we have that time, so why won't we take it? Why wouldn't we take it? In the beginning we thought we would also do the south of Sweden and Denmark in that time, but we realized that we will spend it all on Norway, and we like that because we have enough time to just be flexible and act on a whim or on a tip that we get from someone.
how much time does it take to make a vlog?
This one or in general?
It takes quite a lot of time. Of course, we always take the cameras with us, so we film when we are doing something, and that takes up time, extra time. And then you have the editing of the videos, and I think for every week we spend about 2 days, maybe even more, on editing the vlog, which we put up on Friday. So yeah, it does take a lot of time to make these nice videos for you, but yeah, we like to do it also.
What are your travel plans? You want to answer that one?
Yeah, so now we're on Sumarøy? Sumarøy. And we want to go to Senja and Lofoten. And that's the only plans we made for now. Because we want to
be flexible.
Be flexible about it, yeah.
Like we said just before, the more we don't want to have plans because you just want to be able to see something pretty or get a tip from someone and act on that. And the more plans you make, the harder that becomes. So yes, we want to go to Senja and Vesterålen and Lofoten now, but it's not even that we know exactly when we'll be there. We're just slowly getting there now.
And which places we going to pick there.
Yeah. How do you like working in the camper? it's okay. Doesn't sound very enthusiastic, and that's how I feel too. Um, it works. We have everything, with some conditions, but I'll talk about that in a second. But it's not easy not having your own space and enough desk space and a good computer screen and all of that. So it works, and I can do my work, but it's not always easy. And the conditions I was talking about is that the laptop I use has about 4 hours battery worth, and his has about 2 hours without getting charged. And that means that we either need to have electricity or we need to drive to be able to charge those. So that's not always easy either, because you either need to drive, you need to go somewhere else, or you need to find a spot with electricity. So it means that we kind of end up spending 2 or 3 nights in a week on a camping, or at least a spot with electricity, to be able to do our work. Do you want to visit Southern Finland too?
Yeah, we do. So we didn't see a lot of Finland, only the top part. So yeah, we're quite interested to see more of Finland. So yeah, it is on our list. But yeah, we have a lot of countries that are still on our list.
When we return, it will be either earlier in spring or later in autumn, because we did not like the mosquitoes and the heat wave. So I think our timing was just not that great for Finland either.
The next question is, what do you miss most about home? I think what I miss the most is to have a little space in your house. So yeah, we're living in the camper all the time, and now it's sunny and you can stay outside. But we've had had a week of rain now, and then you have to stay inside with the two of you, and then it gets a little crowded sometimes, and that's something you don't have when you're at home. You have more room, you can do your own thing. So yeah, that's what I miss about home.
Yeah, and I think it's also like we have a camper, so we have more space than some people that are traveling. But it's still like it's a small space, and there's 2 of us and a dog, so it's not that big. Mine is related, like it's also space, but for me it's like my workspace, like my office with a closed door, and like I said, I miss like a big screen and desk space around me. So I think that's what I miss most. But that's when we're talking about the house. If we're talking about home as in more like the place, then I think it's friends and family that we miss. Which places would you like to visit again?
Of course, there are places that impressed me, and of whom you would say, well, maybe I want to visit them again. But otherwise, there's so many places you can visit, so why go back to a place that you've already been to and not go to another place? A very Dutch question. How do you afford this?
That is a very Dutch question.
That's a very Dutch question indeed. And there's a little bit of a sad story about that. Because we can afford this, because my mother passed away 2 years ago. So she was sick, she had cancer, and she died 2 years ago, and she left us some money, and that's the reason why we are able to do this. Otherwise we couldn't have done this.
No. How many kilometers do you drive each day / week? Yeah, that's a really good question, and it's the only one we researched beforehand. Just because otherwise we wouldn't have a clue. So Martin did his thing and he did some calculations for you.
Yeah, so in total we drove about 11,000 kilometers. And when you put that into Google Maps, it's about 150 hours of driving. Although that doesn't take into account that we drive a camper van and not a car. So I think it's even more. It's more like 200 hours, I think.
And it also doesn't account for any detours that we made because we just didn't follow directions very well.
Yeah, and then we visited 78 different locations.
Which is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, it must be 80 now that
Yes.
we're recording this.
Re-recording.
So yeah, if you sum it up and you do some divisions, blah blah blah, then it means we drive about 550 kilometers each week. I think in the beginning we did more kilometers each week, and in the last few weeks in the upper part of Norway we did a little less.
Why did you decide to do this?
Yeah, there's a few reasons.
First of all, we just like to travel. Ha! And we wanted to see more of Europe.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons, of course, but then again, then you don't decide to travel for half a year. So we told earlier about the passing away from my mother. Well, that's also part of the decision to do this, and the reason we're able to do this. Then I burned out at work, came back to work and said to Natalie, I just don't enjoy doing what I do anymore, and I need a real break and evaluate what I want to do in the future. Yeah, actually one day I woke up and I said to Natalie, I want to quit my job. I'm going to quit my job.
One of the other reasons is that we've been wanting to do something like this for a long time. I think we read about van life 5 years ago and we researched buying a van and what kind of layouts we wanted. But it never, we couldn't afford it, coming back to that old question. And then last year, by chance, we bought this camper. So we had the means to do it. So that made it wasn't an impossible dream anymore.
Yeah, so there were quite a few things that happened in a small period of time that made us decide to do this.
Yeah. If you would want a full video about this, because I think we could just talk a full video about why, then let us know in the comments below. That could definitely be an option because there's more to tell.
What's your best moment so far?
Yeah, I really like that question.
I think my best moment was the midnight sun hike that we did. It was such a, it was so nice outside. I thought, no way, we're not going to sleep. We are going to grab our stuff, get ready, make some tea, and we're gonna climb up the hill and have a beautiful view of the midnight sun. And we did, and yeah, it was just, well, magical. It's not a word that I use often, but yeah, it was very, very, very nice.
I think one of my best moments is something you haven't seen yet, so you're going to see that next week. But we met a Russian artist that was living in the north of Norway. And it was a very special way that we got to meet him. And yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but everything that happened during the meeting was very special as well. So yeah, that was definitely a best moment.
Yeah, it was. I totally agree.
So don't forget to watch next week too, so that you see what I'm talking about.
How do you find a routine?
You don't.
Uh, yeah, it's actually not that easy to find a routine, and maybe you don't even want to find a routine because every day is different. Every day you make other plans. So yeah, and of course we have some routines like when we arrive at a spot or we leave a spot, then we have some chores to do, and I do some of them, and Natalie does some of them, and we divided that work, and we always do the same things. So we know, that I do stuff and Natalie does stuff, and that everything gets done.
I think we do talk when we're driving sometimes about routines or how to do things better. One of the things that we kind of struggle with is working, when to work, how much to work. So a lot of times we end up working 2-3 days a week, but then like long days, including evenings. And we've been talking about maybe we need to try to do 4 hours every morning before we do anything. Would that work for us too? Or 5 hours in the evening? Or we keep trying to look for new ways to make it easier on ourselves. Yep, I have a lot. Can Isa join you everywhere?
Yeah, almost everywhere.
Almost everywhere.
We try to take her to all the places that we want to go, but sometimes you're limited. So, like in Norway, you're not allowed to take your dog into a restaurant. So, well, then you can't take the dog. But then we find restaurants where we can eat on the terrace if it's nice enough weather. Or we don't, and we just stay in the camper because we like that also.
But also, like, if it's good weather, as in not great weather, so it's rainy or cold, then Isa can also just stay in the camper and we can do our own thing. We were in Tromsø a while back, and we biked there, and Isa didn't come with us. We just went on our own. And sometimes that's nice too, just not to have Isa with us.
Do you sometimes get homesick?
No.
No, we don't. There's just not so much that I really miss at home. So of course you have your family and your friends, but yeah, you can talk to them in another way, and in the case of Natalie, most of her family lives far away, so we have to communicate in other ways. No, I don't miss home at all. I could do this for a longer time.
I'm not used to getting homesick. I'm usually getting homesick when we travel. But I consider this my home, so I don't get homesick because I am home. Who is your biggest fan?
Yeah, our biggest fan is your mom.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure about that. if a new video is out, she's the first one to check it and to give feedback, and she's the one that watches videos 3 or 4 times. So yeah, it's Natalie's mother, definitely.
I think it's a good thing that my mom is so supportive. You want your family to support you in what you do, and she does.
How do you find spots for wild camping?
I think there's 2 ways we do that. First of all, there's an app for that. It's called Park 4 Night, and it shows campings and paid camper spots, but also wild camping spots. People can just put spots on there. You can filter by certain features like electricity or toilets. So we use that to come up with spots to park, but we also just drive, and if we see something pretty and there's a spot to park, we will park there. In Scandinavia you're allowed to park almost everywhere. There's a few limitations, a few conditions. And I love wild camping, so yeah, when we see somewhere we would like to stay, just stop and at least see if we could stay there.
Yeah, it's really great that you can wild camp here so easily. Are you considering continuing this adventure in the future? Yeah, we are thinking about it.
It's an option. I don't know. I really don't know. We have multiple options, and I feel like traveling is one of them. But it's definitely a good option.
Yeah, but of course we don't have unlimited finances, so if we want to continue doing this, then we also have to see how we can make money or more money on the road, so that we can keep doing this without spending all our savings, because that's not what we want.
With the experience you have now, what would you like to change to the camper? I'm thinking solar panels. Our biggest problem right now is it's like electricity, and like I said, the laptops just having for 2 or 3 hours of battery, and so being able to just charge them wherever we are.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that we regret not doing before going away. But then again, we didn't know what we needed at the time and how long we could use the battery while wild camping. Why do you want to buy a drone at 100 subscribers? So we already wanted to buy a drone when we started this trip, but we had spent a lot of money already before even leaving to prepare for the trip, that we thought, well, that drone has to wait for now. But then we went into Scandinavia and saw the beautiful nature, and we thought, oh, that was a really dumb mistake to make. And we definitely want to buy a drone. And then we thought, well, maybe we can hook it up to milestone that we can achieve. So that's why we thought about the 100 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, because 100 subscribers on YouTube is a thing, because then you get your own URL. So we get youtube.com/ourcamperstories, and we would like to get that. So getting to 100 subscribers is something we really want to achieve. And we have a lot of you that are watching that are not subscribed to our channel. So it was an incentive for us to get to 100 subscribers, but also for you to actually subscribe. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel. What's a real must-have for the camper?
Well, I think we already discussed that.
The solar panels.
The solar panels. That's really a must-have. Another thing that we really like is the LPG tanks that we installed before we left, so that we are able to fill up our gas tank at an LPG station. And I think that that's a really nice way to fill up your gas, although you run into problems sometimes to fill them up. You might have seen that in one of our videos. But yeah, I think that was a good decision to do that.
I think the Wi-Fi that he made is another must-have for a camper.
Yeah, so we have like a mobile router which creates a Wi-Fi network in the camper and around the camper, and it takes a mobile SIM card and it hooks you up to the internet through that SIM card. So we can buy prepaid phone cards in the countries that we visit that contain data usage, and that way we can use more data.
Will you keep the camper when you're done? Yes.
Yes.
That's not even...
That's not even a question. There's no reason to sell the camper. We do want to keep going on holidays at least, and yeah, having a camper is just great, we think.
Yeah.
It's you're very mobile. You have everything with you. So yeah, we're definitely going to keep the camper. How do you like living in the camper? It took some getting used to, especially for me. I did have to get used to it. I had to slow down. So I wanted to continually to go to another place, and then when I was there, then I couldn't find the rest to stay at that spot, and was also already thinking about the next spot and the next thing we were going to do. But I think I calmed down a little, so I'm now getting used to that, and just take it easy and see what tomorrow brings.
I think one of the other things for you was just, like you already said, the space. And you really had to get used to the lack of space and having to ask each other to do things instead of doing it yourself. Because if one is in the kitchen, you can't both be in the kitchen. So I think that took getting used to from both of us. But in the beginning, he had more trouble living in the camper than I did. Thank you for watching this video. We hope we gave you some good answers to your questions.
And thank you for sending in questions. That was really nice to see that we got that many questions. And yeah, if you haven't done that already, subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, and if you have follow-up questions to the answers that we gave, or you have new questions for us, pop them in the comments below, and who knows, we might do another Q&A soon, or just a specific video about one topic if you want to know more about something specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.